I was thinking recently about the notion of death. Um, Probably some causes you could guess. But here's a brain teaser for you guys. A very morbid brain teaser. Imagine for a second that nothing else changed, but that death as a phenomenon didn't exist. Like the cessation of life did not exist. Imagine like what type of world that would create. Because it seems like it, in my mind, the logical follow-on from that, when a system becomes dysfunctional, if it doesn't if life doesn't succeed and then that system returns to an amorphous state, at which point it becomes the building blocks for new life. If it continues to be dysfunctional and to get more and more dysfunctional, what you would end up with is hyper aberrant creations like The Walking Dead or zombies. That's my theory of what would occur. So it seems like death, as unpleasant as it might be, and it might be considered to be the necessary, if regrettable, solution to a world in which entropy is kind of the norm, in which corruption occurs. If that makes sense.
Anyways, moving on, we're going to watch a video from Dr. K here and react to that if we can. The signs that your personality is radioactive and how to fix it by Healthy Gamers, I guess. Dr. K, though. I think that's what his name is. Healthy Gamers is his profile.
When they see that rotten core of messed up stuff, of the pathetic, angry little bitch who knows what he's supposed to do but can't bring himself to do it, how do you feel towards yourself? You're so angry. So angry towards yourself. And then the part of you that's like, no, you're a good person. But this other part of you is like, no, you're not. I'm told in my story.
This is something that's maybe important to point out. I kind of despise the more, put it this way, I despise the extent to which people can take self-love. In my mind, it borders on narcissism or whatever. I don't think self-loathing though is ever a healthy thing. I think you should be comfortable with who you are. And that's my hot take of the day. But I mean, you should be comfortable with who you are, but not to love yourself to the extent that you focus only on your own well-being, right? That makes sense.
And I don't know how to change. I'm like a weird middle class version of Joffrey from Game of Thrones or Homelander from The Boys. If you're not familiar with them, they're characters known for their cruelty and lack of empathy. The difference is I wasn't raised to be this way. My parents did everything right, but somehow I turned out like this.
Never mind.
My parents gave me everything they had. They always encouraged me to be kind and considerate, enrolling me in various activities and trying to teach me empathy. But even as a kid, I'd have these intense tantrums that went beyond normal childhood behavior. My mom is like a maid for the whole family, but I treat her like shit whenever I'm angry, not in the mood, or if something doesn't go my way. I go full Joffrey Homelander mode, taking out my temper on them. I don't know how I got this way. My dad's a bit of a dictator, and that's tolerable. My mom does all the heavy lifting at home, which might be why I'm such a spoiled brat. Everything's been handed to me on a silver platter. I first realized how problematic my behavior was in high school. A friend called me out on my attitude, and it hit me hard. But even though I recognized the issue, I struggled to change. It's affected every aspect of my life. I've lost my friends who couldn't handle my mood swings. At work, I'm known as the office hothead, which has definitely limited my career.
I feel like this is maybe not a statement of what I think should be done to them, but I feel like sometimes life has to kick you on your ass a little bit to knock off some of the rough edges. If that makes sense. And people who, I've said this before, and I think so anyways. I think there's two ways to be really cruel. One of them is to have far too much stuff happen to you, and the other is to have nothing at all ever have happened to you. Like to have a really easy life. That's why children, I think, are basically they're sometimes kind of psychopaths. Is because they don't really have the experiences that would be necessitated to actually feel empathy towards other people, and that they can, because of that, they can act very cruel. They can be very yeah, again, psychopath it, with each other.
Prospects. I've tried therapy and anger management, but I always quit after a few sessions. It's like I can't stand the idea of someone else telling me how to behave, and even when I know I need the help. I've had several girlfriends who all left me after seeing who I really am. My first girlfriend would always forgive me because I can't live without her, but once we got back together, I'd return to my old habits, never putting in effort and blaming her for our fights. I treated my ex-girlfriends the same way I treat my parents. I'm terrified of what my future looks like if I can't get this under control. Will I end up completely alone? Will I ever be able to maintain a healthy relationship or advance my career? I know I'm not all bad. I can be funny and creative. I'm great with computers. I've been told I'm a good cook, but I don't know how to change. Such a great post. I know it's long.
The body scanner reveals the brutal truth about your body that your regular scale will never tell you.
Weird.
For weeks, my scale showed I wasn't losing weight despite diet and exercise. I was about to give up
That's what a scale is supposed to do. I don't know when it's special.
until I discovered the Hume Body Pod. This isn't just another smart scale. It's a complete body intelligence system used in over 12,000 health clinics worldwide, now available for your home. The moment I stepped on it and grabbed the handles, it sent safe electrical currents through my entire body.
So anger really makes us feel out of control. Not just makes us feel out of control, makes us out of control. And sometimes we don't really know what the
And that is something that is also worth discussing. I think that it's one of those things where if you're not used to stopping your reactions, like once you get it started, it's really hard to get off the train. When you get on the train, you don't know where it's going to stop, basically, right? It's very alluring. I don't know if alluring is the right word. It kind of takes over a lot, I think. Again, emotions aren't really my
problem is, but sometimes we do. Sometimes we can look at our anger, we have insight into it, and then we sort of realize, like, oh my God, like, I can't control this, right? Like, what do I do? And this person has some insight, right? They'll sort of like look at themselves and they'll say, okay, like, I've tried therapy and anger management, but I always quit after a few sessions. It's like I can't stand the idea of someone else telling me how to behave, even when I know I need help. So, how do you manage this? How do you understand if you're someone who gets so angry, sabotages your relationships, you've even tried to get help, but you can't stand help? What's going on? So there are a few important principles that we have to understand about how anger works. We're going to start with socialization. So when we move through the world and we
Oh, that's another important point. I think socialization is one of the, like, a lot of times people who don't have siblings or they weren't forced to cooperate with other people, they might not learn how to control their emotions as much because they never had to. Necessity is the mother of invention, right?
relate to other people. The way that we relate to ourselves and the way that we relate to other people, which I know sounds like a weird phrase, how do you relate to yourself, has to do with what we're shown. So we have a mom who's subservient and a dad who's a dictator. So what is the social script? This person obeys, this person dictates, right? So this is the script. So then what happens is, like, this person gets angry and yells at mom, and then mom falls into the script of saying, okay. Now dictate.
That's actually a really interesting point as well. I gotta stop saying that. But it does feel like people do what works. And if anger works, and if anger in their family has been shown to work, it's like a question of what gets you the best results. And why wouldn't you do it if it gets you results? I think it's important, though, that the people in his life have actually shown him that it doesn't get good results, at least at this, gotten him about halfway to the point where he's wanting at least to solve it, showing he's being shown that it is a problem.
It seems like, is not regulating this behavior. So one of the reasons why we learn how to become incredibly angry is because our parents don't teach us the proper emotional regulation skills. Right now, why don't they teach us the proper emotional regulation skills?
People do what works. People do what works, and if getting angry works, they're going to do that. If throwing a temper tantrum works, if crying works, if whatever whatever tools they can use to manipulate people, and until people learn that that doesn't work, I think they'll continue using it. Why wouldn't they?
Script, but, and we'll get to this later, if the dictator does not get super angry all the time, we'll get to that in a second, they won't have learned these skills. So one of the most challenging things about being a parent is when you have a child whose brain is different from yours. So when I'm like, this is why it's like so hard to be a parent of a neuroatypical child. So I have a daughter who's probably neuroatypical, and I have a daughter who probably is neurotypical. And I'm a little bit neuroatypical. My wife is neurotypical. And so the really hard thing is if you have a child who's has.
This is. I'm going to talk about something here. I have cousins who were adopted, and hot take, I don't think adoption is the ideal. I'm not saying it's bad. Obviously, I love my cousins. They're part of the family. Wonderful. Happy to be a part of their family, right? Happy to have them in my family. But I do not think adoption is ideal, because you can see like the amount of put it this way, the nature of one's conception and everything that follows from that, the fact that your parents maybe chose to give you up, like the effect that can have on a person, I think is like super, super profound. And not to mention what he was talking about, the notion of having a child that's different from you. Genetics plays an important role in psychology, and because of that, again, all of that stacked on top of each other, I think it's generally better if parents have a similar genetic makeup to their children. I think it's better for children to be raised by the people who conceive them, right? The idea of being raised by someone who like, the idea that your parents gave you up somehow, like the effect that it has on them, and that now you're being raised by this person who is genetically very, very different from you. I think all of that combined can create a very difficult type of situation.
ADHD or is on the autism spectrum, or in the case of this person probably has some flavor of intermittent explosive disorder or oppositional defiant disorder, or both. We'll get to those in a second. But the way that their brain responds to situations is just a ton of anger. But if your parents haven't had a brain that just gets really angry really quickly, they literally don't know.
This is how you can lose the weight the way you want. Weight Loss by Hims offers access to a variety of options for weight.
How to teach you how to manage that anger, because they have no idea. And this is the problem, right? Is what they'll do is the solutions they offer assumes the brain that they have. And this is why it's so hard to parent neuroatypical kids unless you're neuroatypical, because the solutions that you come up with for the problems in your life.
There's a interesting notion that unique experiences, well, it's not even a really interesting notion, but it's kind of a logical truism, that unique experiences kind of entail unique problems quite often. So this might be a prime case of that. If your child has a very different brain, yeah, it can be really hard to, because you're presenting the solutions. Why am I saying this? This is exactly what he's saying. Sorry, I just don't know if I have much to talk about.
Presume the brain that you have. But if the brain that you have is different, then we don't know how to translate our solutions for that brain. Hey, y'all, if you're interested in applying some of the principles that we share to actually create change in your life, check out Dr. K's Guide to Mental Health. And so we start by understanding what literally is meditation. How does experience shape us as human beings?
Trauma.
How do we strengthen the mind itself as an organ? And so by understanding our mind, we understand a very, very simple tool, a crucial tool that we have to learn. Who is blind, then all of this is, if I'm a parent who can see and I have a child who is blind, then obviously I can't teach them my solutions. I have to come up with a new set of solutions for my child. The problem with things like anger or people who are...
Yeah, it's true. It's very hard to get into the mind of other people, especially if the difference involved is really fundamental. To try and actually understand how that works is, yeah, I don't know. I think on some level in situations like this too, it can help to find some sort of support group of people that are dealing with the same thing. Like, as much as people might want to help, I think sometimes you literally just need someone who has gone through the same thing. If you're thinking of people with like PTSD or Alcoholics Anonymous or stuff like that, people who have had this kind of pretty unique experience that most normal people won't be able to relate to. I think it can be really important to actually find other people who've been through that same experience, whether it's, again, PTSD, Alcoholics Anonymous, SA, or something like that, where you have like a fundamentally different experience from most people in life, and most people are going to be like, hey, this is what I do to fix this thing. I imagine most of them are well intentioned, but the fact that they're well intentioned to some extent doesn't really matter, right? On some level, you might just literally need to find people who can actually comprehend what you've been through, and to associate with them and try to find solutions with those people. If that makes sense.
Neurotypical, especially girls, because we don't realize that they have ADHD, is that the parent doesn't realize that you're blind. So they don't even realize that they need to do something else. They need to figure out a new solution for you. So then what happens is they go on trying to impose what works for them, which may have worked for their parents, right? And this person kind of says, my aunts and uncles are like this too, but my parents aren't. That's a really important piece of information. And then the solutions that your parents give you assume a brain that responds to moderate emotional regulation, doesn't need emotional like care and maintenance on a day-to-day basis. So it doesn't work, okay? Now the good news is...
Interesting type of scenario there. All right. Yeah, I think we're going to skip the news segment today, and we're going to go right to the video game thing here. But first, for some ambiance by healing nature and meditation. All right, now, hope and pray to God that it's supposed to be like a full screen application. I think it's supposed to capture any full screen application, so hopefully this goes. Kind of inspiring music, actually. Like it. Alright, I think I got to the outpost, as I remember. Mother of Pearl. Okay, what the hell? Huh. That's stupid. Wait a second, I might see if I can just knock this off or something. Let's try this again. Ho. Are there really objectives on this thing? Ooh, oops, can't. Come over here if I want.
Hey there, you know that guy I mentioned earlier, Hope? Well, looks like he's been having a bit of a problem lately. He's been camping out over at Balmont a couple weeks, but coming back last night, he found his camp turned on its head. Some food was taken, and apparently the place looked like it had been really messed with. I don't know if it was an animal or some tourist troublemakers, but I'm up in Topeka all day and can't look into it. Listen, I know you probably have other plans, but you're in the right neck of the woods, and I'd sure be grateful if you could just stop on by and have a look.
Am I crouched? No, I'm not crouched. Just walking.
Hope showed up here 2 years ago. Said something about getting off the grid. I heard he lost his family in an accident while he was deployed overseas in the Army. Hit the poor guy hard. I guess out here you only need to look out for yourself. It's easier that way. Not the most cheerful fella, to be honest, but he's earned his peace for sure. Let's find out whoever did this.
Paranoid brain. What if it's another hunter? Or a predator. Like Predator and the Alien. That's what happened. Okay. Noise. Coyote fleeing. Alright. I don't see anything.
You know, I spotted some tracks earlier, close to where you're at right now. I'll send the coordinates.
Go away. I wonder if you can actually swim in this thing. Nope, apparently not. I think in a last pictures he could maybe swim, but I wonder if he would get cold, maybe. He already killed the doe. Could you conceivably be any less loud? In the mornings, I can almost do them myself. Sometimes your voice gets kind of. Hmm. Alright. Oh, yep. Ambiance. You know, let me double check. I want to make sure this thing's actually capturing it. In the Navy. But use. Let's see. Good to have a clear line of sight from over here. I'm assuming they were on the other side over here. Not sure if I would. Let's shoot across that. There you go. Huzzah. Very small buck. Oh, there we go. Hello, gorgeous. Not a weird one. Alright, let's see if we can. Alright. Now. Nab it. See if I can get down to the shore without spooking them. Hmm. And that's what I'm looking for. Huh.
It's bleeding, so that's a hit. Follow the blood trail to find it. Shouldn't have gone far. track of where the wind is blowing. Animals will pick up your scent easily if they're downwind from you.
Okay, I'm confused. So much I'm looking for. So that's not blood, that's for drinking, I think. That's weird. Original blood trail starts. Alright, stop for a second. So that's just a need zone. Does not tell me where the blood trail went. Oh, there we go. Hey, hold on. That's not also, again, that's not also not a blood trail. Maybe that's what it is, I guess I don't know. Old. That's stupid. I'm pretty sure I hit that one pretty good. Sorry, pretty well. Now that doesn't sound right. I am pretty sure I hit that one pretty good. I know it is wrong. I just know it sounds right. Moose. All right. Hit it. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Huzzah. Yeah. It's about a pretty big buck. Enough time to count all the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Wait, no, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. What? I'm still glitching out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's 15, yeah. 15. I'm the best around. Actually, a cat for doing that. Nice. Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
There's no shortage of ways to earn money as a hunter. No shortage of ways to spend it either.
I wonder if they have any sort of quick travel in this game. Probably. I guess maybe not, but maybe they would at least have you be able to go to your home base. Alright, I was going to check and see if this thing is capturing it. Kind of irksome if it wasn't. Alright, huzzah. Alright, I already got whitetail. I think next, I want to see if I can get either maybe a moose or a turkey. I was looking for turkey the other time, but I could not find them, fortunately. Hmm. Jack Horner. Isn't that part of a nurse? Oh, hello. Can slip through the other side over here. See what we can see. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Huh. Alright. Come on. Where were the mooses? Mooses? Moose? What's the plural of moose? Just moose? Certainly not mice. Meese. Many much moose. Sorry. Sorry. Not really. It's a Brian Regan sketch back in the day. Well, many much moosin'. I think the plural though might literally just be moose. Saw several moose the other day. Turkey, I think. But I didn't have the forethought or presence of mind to shoot it on the wing. I'm pretty sure that was a turkey, though. Come on, here, turkey, turkey, turkey. Mm-hmm. Mother of pearl. I feel like turkey would be easier to get from the stand if you just tried to call him in, maybe. There's a bear. Black bear. Anyways, we'll move on. That's smart.
You're getting close. Hope mentioned seeing some tracks in the mud. See if you can find them.
Let's see here. Take out your camera to look through the viewfinder. Oh, good. Looking for a moose over here if I can see one. I wonder if when you go like up north or wherever, they would literally just give you all the tags at once, because it feels like they. I don't know if they would have all the seasons at once. Still have like different, like a turkey season or a whatchamacallit season, moose season, deer season. So I assume most people go out there for specific sorts of hunting. This whole setup doesn't seem necessarily the way it would be. You can shoot anything at once. Kind of cool. Actually shows that you went through it. Anyways. Oh, for the love. Okay. Dumbass. Sorry. Pretty sure that guy was about to get lippy with me, though. Hey, look who shot that guy in the head. Why in the Harry? And where in the Harry did he go? Hmm. Hmm. See, I wasn't paying attention when they said how to take a camera. Hmm. And back around. Hmm. Inventory, sights, consumables, binoculars. Alright, give me a second, I need to use the restroom here. Alright. Cameras. Let's see how and where. Skills. No, there was skills. Stalker. Do I have any skill points? 1. Oh, locate tracks, directional tracking. No, blood trail. That would. No, that's not. Is there anything that actually allows you to track better? Connect the dots. What's this? Scent tinker. Okay, so that's about luring animals, I think. Huzzah! Gameplay. Strafe right, strafe left. Sounds like a previous item. Headlamp scope. Alright. So if I switch to just press key or P. Oh, or hold X. Okay. Am I supposed to be taking pictures? Alright, let's just run a camp here. Yeah, that's stupid though. Should have been able to find that stupid moose that was trying to attack me. Where did you go, stupid moose? Alright.
You found him? Great. Snap some pictures for the record and see if they lead anywhere. Yeah, definitely human. Looks like a troublemaker then. Now, I don't want you to go picking any fights, but maybe you could follow them and see where they lead.
Nice. There we go. Discover outpost. Let's discover. Oh, you have fast travel. Alright. Alright. I think we're gonna be done for today. Thanks for watching. The one of you that I saw was watching, I guess.